Hong Kong is by no means short of wealth, yet it's never been considered rich in culture and the arts. But now there's a concerted push to raise the city's artistic profile. After years of delays and scandals, a much troubled multi-billion-dollar cultural district is finally getting off the ground. Kate Arnott reports from Hong Kong.
It's a major Asian financial centre and shopping mecca for tourists. But Hong Kong remains something of a cultural desert.
All the great world cities, and I include Hong Kong as one of those, really see the necessity to be more than just the finance centre. I think it just creates a sense of dynamism that Hong Kong has in so many other ways, but it just doesn't have it in the artistic or the cultural sense.
Things are changing though, and quickly. In the past year, art has been springing up all over Hong Kong. There have been mobile exhibitions of local works, and a bamboo theatre has been built to showcase Cantonese opera. As well, a much-troubled arts precinct is finally moving ahead.
It's an extraordinary chunk of land in the city where land is at the highest value, I think, of just about anywhere in the world.
This is the master plan for the 40-hectare West Kowloon Cultural District that will encompass 17 museums and theatres, as well as a large public park. It's had a turbulent history, plagued by funding and political scandals. Nothing has been built on the site since it was proposed in 1998. But finally, international teams are being brought on board to design the individual venues, and curators have started putting together a collection for the Contemporary Museum known as M+.
We aimed to build the best kind of museum in Asia, especially, well, the collection is not just from Hong Kong, but also we are going to collect works from regions in China and Asia and also to the rest of the world.
In a major boost to the collection, former Swiss ambassador to China, Dr. Uli Sig, donated nearly 1,500 Chinese contemporary works to M+, valued at $165 million. During the 1990s in Beijing, Dr. Sig bought directly from studios and became friends with artist and political activist Ai Weiwei.
At some point, I realized that nobody, no individual, no institution, neither in China nor abroad, was collecting Chinese contemporary art, except some random buying. And once I realized this, I felt that this was a very strange situation. This is the biggest cultural space in the world, and in hindsight, this will prove to be a very important period in Chinese history.
With art still heavily censored on the mainland, Dr. Sig says he chose Hong Kong for his collection because of its freedom of expression. 26 of the donated works were created by Ai Weiwei.
It is our vision to be more open and receptive to different kind of voices. So our mission is to show the best art to the rest of the world. And Ai Weiwei is one of the best artists. For the success of the museum, it is very important for us to have this kind of freedom of expression and freedom of speech.
There's no doubt Hong Kong's transformation as a cultural hub is happening at a rapid pace. But local artists are at risk of being left behind. They're struggling with high studio rents, and independently run spaces aren't getting much support. For conceptual artist Pak Jung Chun, it's not an easy profession.
Basic survival condition in Hong Kong, the level is very high. I think the commercial or the business or the market before in Hong Kong is not very strong. So basically Hong Kong artists is just doing the artwork for their own shape.
Until recently, Mr. Pak says Hong Kong artists were barely recognised and international curators weren't interested in their work.
One more most basic thing is about the Hong Kong art history, or the contemporary art history. If you try to find out in the library or in the internet, it still feels very difficult to find out.
So it's almost missing.
Yes.
Local artists are starting to receive more support though, and it's hoped M+ will help put them firmly on the international map.
Well, I think we can, sort of probably, continue to, challenge government to, the way that they support artists, the way they support arts organisations. So I think having state-of-the-art spaces, being able to make sure that we can, help them in rehearsal and in developing work, all of those sorts of things are going to be really important parts of building the artistic ecology of Hong Kong, while at the same time helping use it as some sort of bridge.
Michael Lynch took over as Chief Executive of the West Kowloon Cultural District Authority a year ago. Before that, he ran London's South Bank Centre, and before that, the Sydney Opera House. Taking on a project tainted by a multitude of controversies hasn't been easy, and Mr Lynch is only too well aware of how the people of Hong Kong feel about the precinct.
Well, I think they've been pretty sceptical. I think we've spent a lot of time in my first year, trying to take the community with us in terms of showing that we were competent as an organisation and making progress.
It's been challenging, but Mr Lynch seems determined to clean up the mess.
Let's not look back. I'm reasonably positive in my view that we've got to move quickly to hold to the timetable. But I think this new government, which has to, over the course of the 5 years, deal with the idea of universal suffrage being introduced in 2017, sees this project as something that can symbolise and signify that they've made progress.
Most of the major venues are scheduled to be finished by the end of 2017. And if the Cultural Authority can continue at the same pace it has been for the last year, the project just might be ready on time.